All right, so we are on Math Masters page 373, and you need to work with two partners to make a quilt. So find two partners who are working around the same pace as you on this project. So each of you needs 3 copies of Math Masters page 375. And so that's going to be the page in your packet that looks like this. It's page 375, and it's a 9 grid with a border around it. So you need 3 copies each. So if you're doing the math, there are 3 of you, and you each have 3 copies. You are going to have 9 patches total. So you're going to cut out the 3x3 grid on each sheet. Make sure that you include the border with the dots. So basically they're telling you cut along the line here where the scissors are rather than cutting here, because this is where you are going to attach your quilt. Okay, step 2. Cut out the quilting pattern shapes on Math Masters page 374. So these are basically going to be stencils for you. So by cutting these out super cleanly and cutting on the lines, you're going to be able to trace over them so that your patterns look mathematically precise and look geometrically pleasing. So you don't have like wonky lines all over the place and it looks kind of weird. So cut these out, and those are going to be your stencils. All right, now with your partners, so this is going to take some teamwork. Choose one of the patterns on Math Masters page 372, and that is the page we just talked about. So you're going to choose one of those patterns and then decide on a way to color it. For example, I really like the weather vane, and so I'm going to talk with my partner, and we decided to color the square part of it yellow, and then we're going to do like purple over here, and then we all really like the color blue, so we're going to color the square in the middle blue, and we're going to leave the rest of it white. The color pattern that your group chooses should not have more than 2 lines of symmetry, so you should not be able to fold it diagonally. Each group member should then copy the design onto their 3x3 grids using the pieces you cut out. So basically, you're going to take your stencils and you are going to recreate the pattern. So if my group's going to do weather vane, you're going to recreate that pattern using the stencils to draw over the 9-patch grid. Remember, if you don't use the stencils, your quilt will not be mathematically precise. So make sure you're using your mathematical tools. And then you're going to color in the pattern. So once you've traced over it using the stencils, you'll be able to color it in, talking with your partners about how you plan to color it. My suggestion is to color one from page 372 together so that you have a master copy you can all look at to remember what it looks like. Because your group should end up with 9 patches that are exactly alike. So if somebody accidentally colored something incorrectly, then you do not have 9 patches that are exactly alike. All right, so the last step, once you have your 9 patches, is that you're going to punch holes through the dots along the borders of the patches. If you want to laminate yours, please see me the day before you do this, and I can laminate it for you before you punch the holes in it. All right, so then you've got your pattern cut out, and it's ready to go, and you've got your hole punches. So now you and your partners are going to lay out all of your patches to make your quilt. So you're going to lay them out on the floor, and then once you've agreed on an arrangement, then you are going to line up the holes, and you're going to weave yarn in and out of the holes to bind it together like a quilt. But here's the most important part. You need to rotate your quilt pattern some way on the quilt. So you could decide that it's going to be like every which way, like you're going to keep rotating it over and over again. In this case, they used the maple leaf, and you can see that they rotated it. So we're starting off with the maple leaf pointing down and to the left, and then it's up and to the left, and then it's up and to the right. So we have 3 different rotations here. So just make sure that you are following all of the directions, and you will have an awesome quilt. If you would like, you can pleat and glue a ruffle on the outer edge of the quilt. I'm not exactly sure which material they used, but I assume you could use paper. And one final tip is if you wanted to do your pattern out of construction paper instead of coloring it with marker, you may also use construction paper. All right, so hopefully these directions were clear enough. If not, do not hesitate to ask questions. If I'm not teaching somebody, I am very happy to help you. All right, this is the most fun part of the project, and I can't wait to see what your quilts look like when you're finished.